What is going on, guys? We are talking Mortal Kombat 2021. Welcome. This is going to be a spoiler discussion. So if you guys are joining us and you haven't seen the movie, you don't want to be spoiled, this is your one and only warning. I am joined by the awesome Taylor to discuss this film. What's going on, Taylor?
Hi, good morning.
So Taylor, Mortal Kombat 2021 is a Warner Brothers release. It dropped on HBO Max. It dropped in the theater simultaneously. It is actually competing with the likes of Demon Slayer, which is an anime film that a lot of people were anticipated for. This film is directed by Simon McCoy. I believe I said that name. He's an Australian director, and this is actually his first time filming a film. This is his
Directing
first
a
film.
film.
Yeah, this is yes, directing a film. This is his first go at it. He's done actually music videos. The cast though in this Taylor is I think it's a lot of hit and miss, honestly, in my opinion. But you got guys like Lewis Tan, who's Cole, Jessica McNames, Josh Lawson, Ludi Lin, Shin Han, Joe Taslim as Bihan Subzero, and then I'm gonna butcher this name, but Hiroki Sanada. Oh, maybe I did get it right.
Yeah.
uh, as Hanzo, which is AKA Scorpion. I thought those were the just two bright spots. But yeah, so we're gonna discuss this movie, and I got to hear your thoughts, Taylor. What did you think about Mortal Kombat 2021?
So after the first 10 minutes of the credits ending, I walked
Hmm.
away and in my head I was thinking this is probably an 8 out of 10 for me. And
Yeah.
after I had a day or two to let the to let
Yeah.
the some of the things sit, I thought more and more about the main character, Cole, and that
Yes.
made me kind of pull back a little bit towards a 7.
Oh, a lot of people are that is like the one problem with the film is the main character, right? Like I think
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, why isn't Johnny Cage the main character of this film, or to introduce this whole world to the audience. Taylor, a lot of people do not like Cole, but I thought he was going to be way worse when watching the film. And I said that in my review. um I think there was potential there, but they really squandered a lot of the potential. I hated his suit. I did not like his inner power that he awoken. I think the actor is okay. I think some of the acting in here is fine. Um, but yeah, when you sit and think about it, I watched this a couple times. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It might even go lower.
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah, but you know what? I still hold the fact where I actually still enjoyed the film.
I mean, absolutely. Hi,
Yeah.
Jermaine, and welcome. He's probably one of the only ones joining us this morning, but he goes, I was completely open minded about this movie, and I give it about an 8 out of 8.
Yeah. You know, I can't go that high. I mean, it's still like you know what saves this movie, Taylor? And I
What it?
think across the board, I've seen reviewers talk about this. And just to let you guys know, this movie is planned for more movies to come. They want to make like,
Sequels, yeah.
yeah, they want to make like four more movies. The box office number is pretty strong, especially for the pandemic stage. It's like gotten 22.5 million over the weekend, so it did slightly beat out Demon Slayer. But the thing that really saved this movie, especially for the middle part, was Kano. I freaking
Yeah.
loved Kano. I thought Kano was a cheeky bastard.
So I do think that, well, I think the casting was overall pretty good.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
could have really not done a non-canon character like Cole, and maybe had, I see why they wanted to not do Luke Kane again as,
Yeah.
like the main character, but I don't know. I thought his wife and his daughter, like, trying to take care of his family and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and then them getting kidnapped or held hostage. I just felt like that's just so repetitive in every other movie. So I
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
and that's when I thought it more about it as I walked away. I was like, Yeah, there was some repetitive tropes, and I think I have a little bit of a bias from my nostalgic memories as a kid playing Mortal Kombat, maybe. So I
It,
might be a little bit biased with my rating.
well, it's like playing Mortal Kombat and then also the '95 movie because you have some. To me, some of the like Liu Kang wasn't quite right. Like I like the other original actor in the '95 movie
Hmm.
better. So it's hard to like differ the two. The Cole and family dynamic. I honestly thought the family was dead at the end. Uh, when
Me
they're like
too. I
getting
thought
released.
they were dead, and then it kind of you set Sub-Zero up as somebody who's really powerful, and then you can have someone frozen like that, and then they're just they break
Yeah,
out and they're fine. So that kind of just like nerfs Sub-Zero a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah. I honestly would have probably. I mean, this is Mortal Kombat. I would have probably killed off the family. I would have, but I
Yeah.
did like the one scene though, when he takes his daughter and his wife to go get something to eat, and she's like eating outside, and then that's the like introduction, like the badass introduction of Sub Zero, right? Like
Right.
of Sub Zero, not behind, but Sub Zero. And I love the thought of like these crazy powers being in just a normal society in like a city, because he's lifting snow. There's snow. He creates snow, and then he
Hmm.
just smashes it on cars and buildings. Like I thought that was pretty dope. So I did like how they I did like the peril
Yeah.
of the like it kind of worked because
Well, let me bring this into like because I think I see where you're going with this.
yeah.
Let's bring up like okay, so there are special gifts and everything
Mhm.
that come with this. Does it work in the Earth realm? Like not in like technicality, but on screen, does it really work in the Earth realm,
Um
or does it kind of just make it not as cool or great?
well, I was kind of baffled on the fact that they have to like they have these markings because in the
Right.
games it's just they're
Right.
superhuman abilities, and I don't know why they went that route because I mean we have so many superhero shows, Marvel and these
Right.
especially Marvel, you know.
They just have powers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they just have power. I mean, I don't think you really have to necessarily introduce something like an element like that, honestly. But I did, however, love the fact that it was like a horror kind of stalker kind of movie because Sub Zero was going after all these people, these champions, right? With the
To knock
symbol.
them out before the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. I was
I
like,
did
oh, that
too.
was great. That's great because you had the chase sequence with talking about the scene with him going after Cole's family, and then you have Jax getting included, which I actually like the
I
actor
really
who played
liked
Jax.
Jax. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really did.
I think he could have. We'll get to his little baby arms. I thought that was the weakest part. But when he's helping Cole and they're going or they're trying to get away from Sub Zero, and then you get the fight with Jackson Sub Zero. First of all, I thought he was dead, and honestly, I would have probably killed him off, even though like Jax is a really cool
Yeah.
guy. But I thought he was absolutely completely dead when he hit his head falling down. Um, so
Yeah. That's
yeah.
one thing. That's why I wanted to bring up these fighters being in on, you know, in the Earth realm because
Uh,
it almost seems like they get a little bit nerfed
oh,
when
for
they're
sure.
around humans and
Uh
stuff. Like
huh.
I don't know how that works per se. But you know, I don't know. Like we can get into Goro because that was probably one of my least favorite fights.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was kind of some weak sauce. But I totally agree with you because
yeah.
like
So I just think that if you're a normie, and I don't mean that as an insult, please don't. I haven't played since I was maybe like 12, 13 years old, but I think for people who are unfamiliar with the franchise as a whole, or like any elements of this game, or any lore or anything, or any characters, I
yeah.
think that could be confusing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think they made Sub Zero too so OP in this movie. Like he's super overpowered. Well, maybe not. He's been a powerful character throughout the games
Right.
and stuff. Um, so like yeah, with the Earth realm thing, right? I mean, you have Jax who we knew that he had no chance against Sub Zero. We even see it they showed it in the trailer to tell you he has no chance in the film. With Cole, it's very interesting because they have Cole lose in the very beginning in his MMA fight for $200, and I'm just
Yeah.
like thinking like, who the hell's agreeing for a $200 fight here? You know, get some more money, Cole.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought it was fine because it's like, okay, he's gonna lose his fight, but he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna develop and kick ass later on, and he kind of does, I guess. But the Cole character, I think, definitely is the weak spot in here. And let's get into like, so he does end up fighting Goro at towards like kind of towards the end. They send Goro there. I will say, Taylor, I did like the look of Goro.
I did. I kind of got this like Hulk vibe, you know, if you're familiar with the Marvel movies. The design I thought was really well animated, but
Yeah.
here I feel like they fell through the trap hole of only showing him in low light. And I feel
Ooh.
like that's a
Ooh.
mistake that a lot of big
Yeah.
studios make if
Yeah.
they're going to have a fully CGI character.
Yeah.
It's always either low light or you have this like orange y type of coloration
Yeah.
towards, you know, towards the environment. And I think studios really need to get away from that, because if you're going to put all this energy into making this character, especially like Goro,
Yeah.
I want to see him not hidden in dimly lighted
I could I could
coloration.
I could see why they did that though, because a lot of movies do that just because like the CGI, maybe the budget is not like
Yeah,
100 million
that's why
on
they
this
do
thing.
it. It's like
Yeah.
it's a trick of the eye type of
Hmm.
thing, and I'm kind of over it because I know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean it's the best example is Wonder Woman 84 when they introduced Cheetah, like
Hated
full
that
Cheetah.
fight. Hated that fight. I felt like
Like
I was watching the movie in my house with sunglasses on.
I wear my sun. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
the song's always in my head. But yeah, they did exactly that because like the CGI was like if you put that in the lightest scenario, that CGI is terrible with the Cheetah situation. With Goro, what I got out of it was World of Warcraft, the movie vibes.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, like he looked like an orc to me. It was but it was like I liked the design. It was a lot better. You know, 95 they used a practical
It was a stop motion
y-
claymation type thing, if I remember correctly.
and it was also puppetry. It was a lot of
A
puppetry,
little bit, yeah.
but you could tell like they couldn't move it fully. So that design was dope, but you know, they didn't have the
Yeah,
Jurassic Park
yeah,
type team to get bring that to
exactly.
life. I did think they wasted Goro in here. I did not like his death. That death wasn't even like fun. It was just cold piercing him in the head.
It did let yeah, it let that was a letdown for me because
Uh,
I was you know, they show you in the trailer Goro leaping
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the
Not,
air and you're like, "Oh my gosh."
I was
Like,
like, who's
okay,
he
we're going to
fighting?
see like
Yeah.
a decent fight maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that the wife just ran up with a sledgehammer and
Oh
just like
yeah.
hit him. And
Not
I'm
my
like,
man. Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah. It was a the absolutely the thing I hated the most though, Taylor, was that suit. When he is able to bring his powers out and then he gets this like Black Panther kind of suit. You don't know if he could like repel at one point he does repel like all the shots he's taking, and then he
yeah.
gets these like two little spear not spears but little sticks that have like little spears at the end. I don't the design of that, the look of that, it looks like a cheap like suit. I don't know if that's supposed to be his. They're supposed to say it's his body. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I he had potential because he
Yeah.
was the lineage of Scorpion. I was
Yeah.
expecting him to go full on resurrection of Scorpion, or like at least have like a better power and suit. Like this dude is Hanzo's, you know, Hanzo's
Descendant.
lineage. You
Yeah.
descended. Like, come on, you can't give him
I
better.
I kind of see the reason why they chose that skill for him.
It was an
Be-
axe. Thank you,
It
Greg.
was a
Sorry.
call back towards like when he's get wrapping his hands and he's getting ready to fight, and the gym owner like calls him like a human punching bag or something like that.
Oh, that's true.
That's
That's true.
I see that, but then again, I mean they wrote it that way, so it works because they wrote it that way.
Design
Um,
wise, it could have been a lot better.
I think so, and I understand trying to bring in a new unique skill
Mm-hmm.
to everything. Um, Design wise, it just looked like some kind of like weird flesh sinew. Like
It's
it
a
looks like how a muscle might look under the skin.
yeah, exactly. It looked like it's kind of reminded me of Thor one, the first movie. because the suit wasn't like some of the suits didn't feel like it was like I don't know it looked like a bulky body kind of suit. Um,
It looked like I'm not familiar with the name of the material, but I could almost guess how it felt. Like I can almost picture like if I were to touch the suit, like how it would feel. It
yeah,
just looked like this
foam.
light, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it
It's
looked
this,
like
I forget
foam.
what the material is called, but it's this lightweight,
Yeah, a lot of cosplayers use it.
form-fitting foam. Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, the Goro fight, like I think they wasted that potential character. I think they're gonna bring in probably because they're like, okay, let's kill off Goro this one, and then we'll bring in there's other
Oh,
there's
there's so many
yeah, there's other
characters.
descendants of Goro too. There's like there's
Right.
the female version, I forget the name, and then there's like a tiger version of him too. So they'll probably bring them in. You
Hmm.
know, there's what's great about this is the first step, which I gave it. That's why I said like, okay, I enjoyed it, but there's no excuse for maybe a sequel if it's like very generic storyline, bad dialogue and stuff. But the what I'm excited for about this franchise is you have so many characters and you can
It's
introduce
almost a
so many
weakness,
characters.
though. Like,
Somewhat, yeah.
I get
Give me your thoughts on it.
past because there are so many characters. Like,
Yeah.
how do we pick and choose? Do we only just do fan favorites? Do we just do a couple of the really strong, popular ones, and then some of the, like the side ones? Like, I understand the decision making process that had to go into
Hmm.
that process, so I kind of give them like a little bit of a pass, especially if they plan on doing sequels.
Yeah.
You do have opportunity to bring other characters in. I think they teased Cage.
Oh, they did.
So,
They did.
yeah.
They
So you
did
have
teach
time
Cage.
to bring more in.
I actually,
For one film,
yeah.
you can't get everybody in there.
I think. I think they should have used Caged honestly in the
Yeah.
first in this
Oh,
one.
me too, Jermaine. Me too.
Jermaine says, "Please don't hate me, but I like this Sonya Blade better than the '95 version of Sonya." So let's get into that, Taylor. So I'm curious to see like what were some of the characters you really enjoyed and what were some of them you really
Kano.
hated. Oh yeah, well, Kano, of course. You know the guy. Oh man, this dude's superpower is talking shit. Like he's
Oh,
so good
man.
at it. I love the I just love mostly all his lines. I love when he's eating peanuts and like these like this thunder god is talking to like Shang Tsung. Raiden is talking to Shang Tsung. He's just eating peanuts. He's like, oh yeah. And then like the one part I love the most though is when was it Kung Lao who
Kung
was
Lao, yeah.
yeah, he was sweeping him like three times. And that's like exactly like
Oh
from
no,
the
that was
game.
was that that was Liu Kang, sorry.
Yeah, it was Luke Kang. And he's leg sweeping Kano like three times, and that's exactly what happens in the when you play the video game. Leg sweeps, uppercuts are usually the go
Mashing.
tos.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
the
button
spam.
mashing. But Kano was such a delight. It sucked to see him die. I thought he deserved a better death too. I do get the cheekiness of it because he spat
Right.
on that gnome, and then
Hmm.
she killed him with the gnome, Sonya. But like, oh man, Kano like this movie goes lower if Kano's not in it and if it's not portrayed and acted superbly by that actor.
I think some of the dialogue was pretty strong
Hmm.
with especially with Kano's character.
Yeah, the jokes for sure.
I liked the jokes. It gave you, I mean, I understand there's like, and I think some of the weakest dialogue was the exposition. Like, let's explain how this realm
Oh,
works.
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
That
Oh,
gets tiring only from just having a foundational knowledge of Mortal Kombat. I understand they do it because they're like, oh, there's going to be people who don't know. I don't care. There's a bunch of people who have been behind this franchise for a really long time, and that's your main audience. Like, if
hmm,
you feel like you need to sit around and explain all of that, I guarantee somebody who's never seen it before is sitting next to somebody who knows about Mortal Kombat, and let
yeah.
that person fill the other person in.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the '95. It's been a while since I rewatched it. Gary, this movie, I can see why they wanted to. I find this movie better than '95, and then of course the sequel, Annihilation. Uh, but I kind of feel like the '95 version might have had a better pacing. It wasn't. It was exposition dump, but it was like done better. I feel.
I feel like there's a I don't want to really compare it to 95 because that's its own can of worms to open, but um I have an appreciation for it just because I can still go back, and if I want something, okay, I love the Highlander movie too, and
Highlander.
it can be wicked cheesy sometimes when you go back
Yeah,
and watch it. Dope
yeah.
ass Queen soundtrack though, but you can sit there and have a good time and laugh at the cheesiness. I think this time around they had to go serious, and I love their attempt to do that
I think it
and
worked
get
though.
gritty. I mean, the death scenes were probably some of my favorite.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think it worked because like I was rewatching it and I was like, just the Jax and Sub-Zero fight alone, it
Yeah.
looks great. The cinematography is really good, solid. It's really grounded. It's not like the web series they did. It's not as because that was low production. It has a budget to it. So I thought I did think it worked, and especially the death scenes for sure. Like the Kun Lao one is probably my favorite out of the film, the fatality or the flawless
Oh, yeah, yeah,
victory.
yeah.
Yeah,
Flawless victory. I have to maybe some people didn't appreciate that, but I have to tip my hat because that's what this is. It's a video game. That dialogue, that voiceover when you're playing the games and
yeah,
you beat your buddy, you want
yeah.
to hear that. It's like a cheeky little haha, I'm better fighting that you, bro. Or you I don't know how many siblings like played this when we were kids,
Oh yeah.
or you played with your friends,
It
and
was
that just added, flawless victory or anything was just the icing on top of beating your buddy.
it was this game and it was like Street Fighter for us. It was always these two,
Yeah.
and then a little bit of Dead or Alive. Um,
Yes.
so let's go. To me, it was a hit and miss on the casting. So I love
Okay.
Kano, but then I was like iffy on Sonya. Sometimes she had good moments, and then sometimes like eh. I think the one character I was really disappointed, or who they casted, and I feel like there was something missing, was Liu Kang. Like Liu Kang, I just he was very bland to me.
I feel like that was the studio's decision to
Yeah.
make him take a seat this time.
Ye-
Um, it worked in some areas and then it didn't work in others. I thought the actor
Yeah.
was really great as him though.
I don't know. Like some, he's very he's very wooden in the facial realm. Like he was more. It was more monk. It was definitely more monk Luke. Lou. Uh,
Yes.
I
I have
I
to imagine him being, raised by Raiden or, something like
Oh,
that.
that was
So,
another. I'm sorry, that's another disappointment, Taylor. I think they miscast Raiden bad. But then again, like it's kind of like the Joker situation with Jared Leto. Like this actor didn't get a lot to do
don't
as
talk to me
Raiden.
about Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, Jared Leto's terrible, but as a Joker. But like the sense of we haven't seen in that first Suicide Squad, we didn't see a lot of them. In this one, it's kind of like Raiden. We didn't see a lot of them, but I just still feel like, dude, that's not my Raiden, you know. And it might be because you're kind of comparing it to '95, but I still feel like maybe you get a more, as somebody pointed out, maybe a Donnie Yen, a Jet Li, even though like Jet Li's like super tiny. But I don't know.
Camera angles can fix that easily. You seen The Hobbit?
That's true. And then Tom Cruise's whole career, right?
Yeah, stop it. Be nice.
Yeah, get the apple blocks for him. Get him an
Be
apple juice
nice.
as well. But no, I think those two. I would have casted somebody different as Raiden. He was really more harsher in this film too. Like that's not the in the game. Raiden is like, I don't know. He's more like of a nice little grandpa to me. You know,
Yeah, but he's
he's trying to
serious
do the
though.
best. He's serious, but he's still like, I don't. Maybe it's the voice acting as Raiden in the game that really kind of soothes you. But
Yeah, but this time around, I really feel like they really tried to stick to the whole like monk type of aspect, and I think for me personally, I think
yeah.
it works better.
Um, I just didn't.
I know it's gonna be one of those things where we
I
disagree.
disagree on this one. Gary says he is Asian, not white. Now here's the thing. So I do appreciate how they actually got Asian
Appropriate Thank
cast
you.
members in this movie. I'm so sad that Bruce Lee is not alive today because
I
he would have been
know.
phenomenal in Mortal Kombat. That would have been the first guy you call up. However, with Raiden, '95 version's better. in my
No,
opinion.
stop.
95's version's better. It doesn't matter about race. That Raiden had more of a presence. That Raiden had more memorable lines. I think 95 version is better. Like I said, there's a little bit of you're gonna kind of compare it to 95 a little bit. Liu Kang's 95
Hmm.
I feel was better. So there's some things that work in 95 that this movie didn't it necessarily bring me fully in. I was like, okay, there's some things that this movie works definitely a lot better with the fatalities. There's some casting choices like, okay, Sub Zero and Scorpion, the actors, the storyline, the fights,
Oh
that was the
yeah.
heart of the film. They
Yeah.
worked amazingly. I could have watched the whole movie. I could watch a whole movie with just those two.
I could have watched just a whole movie with just in the style of the opening film. Like, okay, so the opener after the opener was a huge tone shift.
Oh, I know, right? It was crazy
Like it
because
was a hard pivot after that. The opening scene, I was like, I could just watch a whole movie like this. I do like films like that. Um I I appreciated seeing the setup behind the two, and
Mhm.
then you're catapulted years, decades into the not decades, more like a century or something like that,
Yeah,
centuries into the future, where you're dealing with their descendants, which was like Cole and
yeah.
stuff. But it's such a huge tone shift. I was like, oh man, that opener was crazy, and
Oh,
I don't know if it was a good idea because I know they put the opener out first for people to watch, and I
yeah. It was
didn't
like
watch it purposely. I didn't watch it.
I watched it. I watched the 7 minutes of it, and then I was gonna like skip through it when I was gonna first time viewing. Like, okay, I already watched the 7 minutes, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna continue it to get the flow. The
It
flow
gives
of the
you
film.
a foundation of how ruthless Sub Zero is.
Oh, Sub Zero's a freaking. I think there's gonna be a storyline in the second one where Quan Chi. It's flipped, where Quan Chi uh he disguised himself as Sub Zero and then murdered like the whole Scorpion clan. But I
Hmm.
think it's flipped. I think because he constantly references. It seems like he has a grudge, a vengeance towards Hanzo. So I think it was flipped where maybe Quan Chi disguised as Scorpion and murdered a lot of B Han's clan. So I think it might be a reversal.
Okay. I I kind of wish I would have seen more of Scorpion, but I do like that he came back as like
From
the
hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the ending of that part. Um some things about the final fight though.
Yeah. So I'll agree. The tone switches a lot.
Hmm.
The first fight I think is so good.
Martial arts, yeah, very more hands-on and less use of the powers for
Oh,
sure.
really great. It really
Yeah.
reminded me of like these like 13 Assassins, if you guys ever seen
Yeah.
that. And it had that western kind of feel to it. Like it had a little bit of a Magnificent Seven to it like that feeling, that little feeling. But then like okay, the second fight. The second fight, pretty dope. I like his costume. It was a hit and miss for me for Sub Zero's costume. Would have liked a little bit more blue. Would have liked maybe not so big of like the pat like the plates on the shoulders.
Okay.
The second fight, what I really loved about that second fight was the arena, so to speak. So they're back at where the cage where
Yeah,
Cole was
they're back
fighting.
at the gym.
Yeah, and it's like all ice. I thought the production design was beautiful in that, and then the sound mixing was super great because they used the sounds of the game. Some of the like when somebody's smashing into ice, that's like the same sound you hear like when you're fighting in the game and you're fighting against Sub Zero. I actually really enjoyed the fight. The more I watched it, the more I enjoyed the aspect of it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like where the hell this corp like he just rose out of the hell, and then it doesn't make sense that with Bihan like how is this dude still alive after centuries? Like how did he
Well, he
become
made
Sub
it. That
Zero?
was his deal with the to kill Hanzo. Was he was given like more immortality or something like that?
Was it was did they say that in the movie? I didn't remember.
Like shoehorned in like a line
Oh
to be
man,
like, this is
yeah,
why he's still here.
I must have missed that one right there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the last fight. It was a little odd to me though. Like
Well,
When they first,
so the baby that was there in the beginning,
yeah,
Sub-Zero, I guess, didn't see the baby or
no, he didn't.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's why Cole was able to even exist was because that one baby
and it was a girl.
lived
Yeah,
was yeah. So that's when you see Raiden come down at the end of the fight and take the
yeah,
baby off, and that ensured the survival of the bloodline. But Bihan was supposed to make sure that the entire family was wiped out, and he just missed
exactly.
that baby.
Totally did. He totally did. You know what's funny is when you say Raiden just beamed down. Um, Another issue I had with this movie was like, so the champions, right, go seek out Raiden's temple, and Liu Kang is supposed to like go search for these guys, but he goes after it. Like Raiden never like just goes to Earthrealm and grabs them and brings them back to the temple. They were searching for the champions, right? And then Liu Kang just kind of meets him at the desert when it was kind of his job to go seek them out. So I found that a little bit odd.
Well, that's when we talk about some of a few issues
Yeah.
with not just the pacing, but a little bit with the writing, because I felt like that could have been a little bit tighter
Mm-hmm.
in bringing them all together. Because I understand you have to find out how they're all going to get together, right,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
into the same place. So I don't want to imagine what that writing process looked like, and then I don't want to imagine what it looked like when the execs were rewriting and putting notes into there, because I feel like
I feel.
whatever was possibly written beforehand was better than what was laid out on screen.
Yeah, I definitely think there was like a lot of just ideas being thrown around. There's a
Yeah.
big old whiteboard, and there was a lot of things probably on that whiteboard that they're
And
like,
that's what happens that's why video game movies are so hard to translate into films,
mm-hmm.
because you have so many overheads involved that don't really even care. They're just trying to make a movie to make money, which I understand is their job,
Uh-huh.
but at the end of the day, it's like, give us a break. Like, give us what we want.
Yeah, like they it's like the video game movies or video game like them trying to do adaptations the same similar as anime, where they try to adapt anime to the big screen. It's a very similar process,
Yeah.
and you see
Ghost in a Shell.
yeah, Ghost in the Shell. I think they did a good job of Battle Alita though. But then they have like Dragon Ball Evolution, which is like the most terrible thing. Death Note on Netflix. Like it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
I do appreciate though that they're saving it. They didn't give you it in this one movie because we already done it. Is the tournament aspect? Like they didn't give you the full
Right.
tournament aspect. I thought that
The
was
whole
okay.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fine. I was like, I don't need the tournament as long as you give me fights and you give like
Yeah, and so what they've established with this is
yeah,
that the tournament doesn't need to happen at all for them to fight.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you
exactly.
could just show up on Earthrealm and start killing the other fighters. Like, I mean, I get it. They're technically the villains, right? So they're
Hmm.
not going to play by the rules. But what that kind of just showed me was, so the tournament really doesn't matter then, because they're just going to fight regardless.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious how the tournament just like because there's rules that were set right,
Yes.
and yet that shit don't. It's like singing songs like I don't give a shit about the
He's
rules.
like, I'm going to cheat, and
Yeah,
that's that.
I guess you can give it a little cheat code kind of deal.
He did. He
Game.
threw in a cheat code.
Totally
Do you
threw in
remember
a
Game
cheat code.
Sharks? Was that what was
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
they were
everybody
called?
did that.
Yeah, he threw in the Game Shark.
I'd go X play on G4 too.
Seriously.
The one character too I really liked in this film was Kung Lao. I really liked Kung
Yeah.
Lao. I like the
Yeah.
actor he was there. He had that nice little swag to him, that really nice little cockiness to him.
Yeah.
I like the I would call it the dinner scene where they're talking shit to Kano.
Oh
That
yes.
was
Trying to get his
great.
power to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kano's all ecstatic. He's like, "Oh, I got a fucking beam," like I
Fucking laser beam.
yeah, I thought that was great. And then Kun Lao, like when he shows up to help Liu Kang, dude, that was bad. When he kind of like showed up, and then he goes underneath his hat, and then he like just teleports, and he's there. I was like, dude, that he was awesome. But then
I hate his death.
Shang Tsung gets a hold of him, and yeah,
He's getting his soul sucked.
that was a cool effect though. That was pretty dope. I'll give it that. That was pretty dope. But I was like, what? Really? Damn it. He's
And they
dead.
stood there staring at it too. They're like, "Oh my god!" Like they're
I know,
just
right?
like, "Hello,
Cole's like, we gotta go. Like, Cole,
your buddy's
you
getting
should
his
have been
soul
that guy.
sucked." Like,
God damn it. Yeah, I was that. That sucked, man. I was like, Kung Lao was dope. I really, and I really appreciate, like, the actors here, right? Like the Bihan, Scorpion, like or Hanzo, like those actors did a phenomenal job. Kung Lao did a phenomenal job.
I
I
think
thought
that
Kano.
Natara was there for like 5 minutes and then just gets buzzsawed in half.
So such a wasted character. I didn't even like the design
I
either.
liked the death though.
Oh, the death was great.
Yeah, the death was awesome. I saw that and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm glad I watched this when my daughter was at school because
Yeah, do not have kids watch this.
I did not realize that it was rated.
Oh hell yeah, it's rated
Yeah,
R.
I did not realize that. So my
Bravo
husband and I
too.
watched it while my daughter was at school.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh wow, thank goodness," because that would have been a little bit traumatizing for her.
Yeah, that was the problem with the 95 was it was PG-13 and there was a lot of people complained there was no fatalities, no gore. This one they're like, nah, fuck that. We're gonna rated R, fatalities, gore, which I really appreciated.
Right,
Um,
because that's the whole point.
yeah. One of the wasted characters in here was Melina, too.
Yeah, I felt like okay, so her whole presence was a stand by typical henchman character
Uh
where
huh.
she looks really tough and doesn't say a whole lot until it's
Yeah.
time for her to fight one of the good guys.
Yeah. And
That
it's
I
uh,
that yeah, I kind of didn't like that.
the thing is they can bring her back. I mean, she's supposed to be the clone of Katana, so she'll probably play Katana in the future movies. And they could bring her back because Melina is technically a clone, so I'm pretty sure they can clone her
Yeah,
again.
they saved her mouth opening up until
Very
the
end,
last fight. Yeah.
which I wanted to see that like throughout the whole
I
thing,
was
but
waiting for it too. I was like, "Oh shoot, are we gonna
at least
like
they
how are
gave
they
it to
gonna do
us.
that?" Yeah, they
At least
did.
they gave it to us. But I will she should come back as maybe another clone because she's very vital to the to she's a big player in the later on Mortal Kombat games. She's a big player. So I would like to see her be take on like a bigger role or introduce maybe some of the other ones like Tanya, Jade, or something like that, which probably will happen.
Hmm.
So yeah, this movie kind of like it's a I guess I would call it maybe a beautiful mess a little bit. It wasn't too crazy bad where you couldn't watch it. Like there was enough momentum throughout the film with the
Yeah,
thing
well, I
with
think the
Kano.
pacing needed help a little
The
bit.
oh yeah, the pacing needed help, but the thing that it was Kano. Kano was the key. Kano made you
He made
entertained.
you, and yeah, he entertained you throughout the training thing, like
Mm-hmm.
the training
It's
montage
like
part.
it's like Gladiator, right? He's like, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved. But so that's some problems I have with movies is like when the movie is not strong, too strong with the script or the pacing issues. It has that one part where it just lingers on and it's kind of boring and you're kind of falling asleep. But the thing they got to thank their lucky stars they have a character like Kano because the Kano kind of brings a little bit more life into it while we're going on through the movie. And even like there's a slow moments in the film before we even get to another fight. And I thought the editing was terrible on the final fights, like with Melina, with that other guy who had the hammer, which he looked ridiculous. Like that editing style of the fast cuts were and just the inner workings with all the different fights
Well,
was
that's what I bring back to the pacing
yeah.
because I mean, the beginning, you have your foundational opening scene, then you get into introducing who Cole is, a character that is totally manufactured,
Mm-hmm.
and his family. Then you got introduced Kano and Sonya for the exposition dump, and
Mm-hmm.
then you move into them getting to the temple, and
Mm-hmm.
then you move into the training, and then it's bam, 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 fight, 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 fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Then
Like
it's just
the end of it where all the fights started happening, I felt was the most rushed. I felt like I was going just from like one fight to the next.
yeah,
And
it was totally the most rushed.
yeah,
It didn't give you a breather until you hit the Cole and Sub-Zero fight.
when it slowed down enough to get to the big fight. Yeah.
Yes, and then it just focused on that one fight, which I was like, okay, fine. Like I just want to focus on this one fight. I think this movie works. Oh, man, I would have just loved more Scorpion and Sub Zero, or at least Cole becoming more of a badass. I think he just he I think that's the weakest. That's why this is the like one of the weakest things about the film is that Cole just doesn't live up to that Hanzo name. To me, in my opinion. But
It felt like studio. Yeah, it felt like the studio involvement.
it really did, and I could agree with a lot of people who said that they should have put, if not Johnny Cage, maybe another character from the lore, into that place of Cole.
Yeah,
I don't
if
hate
they
Cole.
didn't want
Yeah,
Luke Kane as the
main
main
guy.
character, I understand not wanting to kind of like carbon copy the original, like the 95 movie.
Yeah,
I get that. Then how come we didn't see it through Jax or Sonya? Or
they surely could. They totally should do it with Sonya because she already
I
had
think they could have done it
everything.
with Sonya, but
She had all the. She was focusing on, or she had all the intel. She
she
was the one that
did.
was doing all the research.
Seriously, they
Uh,
could have just shown her finding all this information and learning about the mark
yeah, yeah.
and then finding her way to meet
Ooh,
up with everybody else at the
oh
temple.
man, how much time would have cut
And
out,
then
right?
she has like some kind of like connection with Jax already, so
Yeah,
it
there you go.
naturally introduced Jax that way through Sonya.
I
I
make
mean
Sonya the main
that's the change that I
protagonist.
would have made.
Yeah, I would have made that change in a
If you
heartbeat.
weren't going to have Johnny Cage in there, then I would have, yeah, I wouldn't have picked him as a main. I probably would have just gone with Sonya. You naturally introduce Jax through Sonya,
Yeah.
and take it from there. Like,
Okay, Jermaine, you made a great point because after rewatching it the second time, because I said I didn't hate Cole, but I could see somebody, take like we said, taking maybe Sonya taking the place. But you're right. This could be phase one of Cole. So there could be he could become what I hope his potential could be in the next film. That suit that he has could go up a stage, can transform
you could
his
eventually cover his whole body.
whole body. Maybe you get more of the ninja scorpion look or something else or something like just a better design. So and then he could eventually be a better character in the second film because we're following him and that could work. We're following him in his first movie. We don't necessarily like him too much, but he could do a complete 180. And I've seen this happen before in other movies and TV where you don't like a character, but then they do a complete 180. And you're like, oh shit, man, he's a badass now. And that could totally work, and you can understand why, like the first movie he's this way because he could evolve. Because maybe that's why they showcase why he's losing in the MMA fight in the beginning, and he's not as good as a lot of these guys. He could become better. He's
Yeah,
good, but he could become better.
right.
So going back to the Sonya part though, with Kano and Cole and all the exposition dump, I have to say this though, Reptile was awesome. I really like this
And
Reptile.
he got killed off right away.
He did. I know. But maybe he can come back as the ninja form.
Why
Because
did they do that? That happened in the 95 film, didn't it?
it had been in
He died
'95,
for
but that look was like a gecko. It was terrible CGI. And I did like the idea though, like he gets like pulled into the statue and then he turns into the ninja form.
Yeah.
Um, this one was badass because it was like more a kimono, like a kimono dragon looking
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I would have imagined. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
So
And if you don't know anything about the kimonos, once they smell blood, your ass is done. You better freaking run, climb up a tree, make sure you don't fall. They will devour you. It's insane. But I did like the reptile. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, Shang Tsung was fine. I do like. I think that actor did what he could do with whatever he was given. I think he maybe gets a bigger juicy role in the
mhm.
next film. And then let's finish it off where like going back to the Scorpion and Sub Zero because such the heart of the film is that I did. So Sub Zero gets killed off, right? But we know he has a brother. He has a brother. That's the good Sub Zero. In the games, we'll see if they'll probably introduce Sub Zero again in the films.
Right.
I would like Bihan to come back though, somehow, some way. I did like the conclusion of those two rivalries. I did like. I liked, but there was a little more of like I wanted the full skull of when Scorpion is just like shooting fire out of his mouth. You get a little bit of hint of the flame throwing
Yeah,
skull.
it give you like a peek of it.
Yeah, so I would like that. I did like how his mouth was all nasty looking when he took
Yeah.
out his mask. I was like, dude, he's like a zombie. He's great. And
I
uh
know they kept some of the human features because they had to be like, oh, remember the guy from the opening? This is him though. I
yeah,
understand why they did that. Because
that's
if you didn't know, people would have been like, huh, who's this skeleton face guy? You know, they had to show you that
oh
it
yeah,
was Hanzo. So
doing the general audience a favor, I
general
guess.
audience,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I want to see more of those two. I really want to see more of them.
And I'm sure we will. I still need to see. I need to see Goro have like a real fight though, and not be just kicked around by a mom and her kid and
I
some
know
guy with a flesh suit.
it was very odd. It was very odd, that scene. And then Cole just went to go cry with his family, even
Yeah.
though like he can't leave yet. His family's in danger, you know. Even though I don't know, it was a little odd to me. So the next, I give this movie. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. I think I'll stick with the 7 out of 10. I know there's a lot more flaws in this film, but for the first attempt, for more movies to come, it was a nice step. It was a nice step. There was a lot of things I really liked about this film, especially with the Sub-Zero and Scorpion stuff alone, and Kano alone. And I look forward to see what they could do and how much they can improve
Hmm.
in the next movie. And I would like to see. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I will say real quick though. Another character I really liked. I know a lot of people didn't like his voice acting or overall him talking.
Cabal.
Yeah, I like Cabal.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it.
I like Cabal. I liked the
He
his.
played off Kano a little bit. He was
I
like
I
he
thought
was
it was
like
fun. I thought it
Sang's
was fun.
version of Kano. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Pretty much. I thought that was a nice little back and banter and back and forth. Um, and when he's fighting Liu Kang, I mean, I don't know why Liu Kang didn't like use his dragon ability in the Gecko, but like I did like the fight itself when those two were going at it. But Cabal was dope. I would like to see in the next film there's like not an Easter egg, but you see it in Sonya's like intel. I would like to see Nightwolf in the next
Okay.
one. I
Oh
would like
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I, so Mortal Kombat Annihilation holds a little place in my heart because when I was a little lad, when I was a little Danny, I went to the movies with my family and I absolutely loved the movie. You know, I'm a kid. I don't know any better. We're just talking about Space Jam 1. So,
Hmm.
I got my favorite character out of that movie was Sub-Zero's brother. I thought he looked badass. He had the scar and all that stuff. So I would like to see Sub-Zero's brother. He was even in they made an animated series. I don't know if you ever watched it, Taylor, a cartoon of Mortal Kombat. And he's
I
in
don't think
that.
so. I don't think I saw it.
They made like a Saturday morning cartoon of Mortal Kombat.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it fondly, but I haven't gone back and watched it. But
Yeah.
I would like to see Sub Zero. Of course, I want to see Johnny Cage. I'm super interested to see who they cast as Johnny Cage.
Yeah, because that could be a hit or miss casting, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I just read too before we did this stream that the Miz WWE the Miz is trying so hard to get cast as Johnny Cage, and I don't know if
Oh.
you're familiar with the Miz, but he's a cool cat. I don't want to see him as
He
Johnny
can
Cage.
he can keep wishing, but
Yeah, I don't want to see him as Johnny Cage, honestly.
wow.
So I there's and then of course I guess Silax would be dope. So I'm just super interested to see. Oh, and of course Shao Kahn. I would love because that statue when they showed that statue of Shao Kahn in the movie, I was like, dude, he looks badass. He looks
Yeah.
so cool. I want to see him. Or Quan Chi too. I would like to see the reveal that Quan Chi's the one is a reversal where he murders a lot of the Sub Zero's clan and puts it on Hanzo.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would like to see that. I think they're going in the right direction. You know, it was a messy, fun movie.
Yeah, it just fell into what I kind of went into this expecting this trope, which is like the studios trying to change it to fit a general audience
Hmm.
instead of just catering to the fan base. Like I just don't know why the studio tries so hard to change what people already love about the franchise.
Yeah, if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I think when you're moving on to these other films, they should explore more of the game's lore into the.
Yeah, like now you got the first one out of the way. Any of the general audience that saw that movie, you don't go into any more like explaining, just go right into it with your characters and
Yeah.
okay, because if you're going to use one movie as the exposition dump, don't do it in the sequel, please.
Yes, and
And
if
don't
you.
recap it. Don't oh, remember what happened in the first movie? Don't
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Don't do like a Boku no Hero Academia.
Ugh.
I will say if they do get a bigger budget on this film, hopefully they do what was it? Hopefully they do Outworld a little bit cooler looking.
Yeah, I mean the coloration just looked
It looked
like
like Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
yeah,
sort of. It was a little bit more. It was definitely shot better. Cinematography
yeah.
was better. But yeah, if you get a bigger budget, spend it on like wisely. Spend it on some of the things that would make this film maybe a little bit more better. And I think Outer World would have been benefited from
Yeah.
a more creepier dystopia. You know.
Yes.
So yeah, Taylor, I think that's our thoughts on Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
2021. I mean, it came, it went. Are you looking forward to maybe the sequels?
I
Uh,
am.
okay, okay.
I
Are
have
you?
the nostalgia in me just like I mean, I was born in 92,
Yeah,
so when I was like, kindergarten age, I used to watch my stepbrothers play,
yeah.
and then I was able to play as I got older. My daycare lady was a cool cat. She had an SNES
Oh,
that only
nice.
the older kids could play. So I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 at the time that I was going to this daycare lady, and
Yeah,
I would used to play with the boys. And that was like the cool thing that we could do that the little kids couldn't do. It like was a whole different thing for us. And so I do have some fond memories of the video game. I obviously, I like to occasionally have a few beers and watch the 95 one, but
yeah, yeah. I mean,
um,
the 95 has its
it has its
moments.
charm and
Yeah,
it does. I can't, maybe they're going in the right direction with the sequel. I won't know until I see that, but oh, Jermaine is 92, same here. Hey, 92 brother.
I think that I'm pretty sure Jermaine Taylor made a Top Gun reference while she was saying
Yeah.
the boys.
So
It's so funny that you said that because
full
my
of
daycare.
references.
It's so funny you said that because my daycare. I was born in '89. That's right, baby, Batman. So I it's so funny you said daycare because I got actually introduced to the game Mortal Kombat while I was in daycare, and
That's crazy. We have the best daycare people.
and they had the original Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was the first game, I believe, or it might have been the second game. I can't remember. But yeah, we were playing Mortal Kombat at a
In
daycare.
daycare. Yay.
Yeah, how
We
crazy
just
is
don't make daycare ladies
that?
like they used to anymore.
That is insane. So,
Wow.
but it's not. I guess it's not as insane because kids nowadays they can access violent games no
Yeah,
with the push of the phone button. Honestly.
that's true.
So yes, I want to thank everybody who was on the chat. Go ahead and comment once this video uploads. I will answer all your guys' questions or like see what I want to hear what you guys thought about the film, and we'll talk about it on the comment section. Uh, Hashtag Tom Cruise for Johnny Cage. That's gonna be trending.
No, stop it. You're trying to get me.
Oh, so I'm trying to get all those dislikes on this
I
video
see
now.
that. You're doing a
Oh
good
man,
job.
hashtag for Tom Cruise for Johnny Cage. Oh man. So yeah, guys. I mean, if you guys are new to the channel too, come check out all the videos on my channel. I just uploaded the Demon Slayer movie review. Be doing a stream on that later on today with Chase. Me and Taylor, we break down Mayans episodes. If you're into Sons of Anarchy or Mayans, every Thursday. Taylor, we're thinking about maybe doing Space Jam, a little stream on that one. And then just a lot of videos on the channel. So go check it out. Please hit the subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. Like the videos too. It will help this channel grow and get the word out. And then I want to put this question to you guys: which is better, the Mortal Kombat 2021 or the 95 Mortal Kombat? Comment below and let me know which one is better.
Let
I
the
want to
arguing commence.
yes, fight. Uh, thank you, Taylor, for joining me. As always,
Thank
it was a
you.
pleasure. And thank you guys. We will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Stay safe. I'm Danny Man, Daniel's son.